The following is brought to you in part by the National Park Service, the Oregon Folklife Network, and the University of Oregon.
From January 2003 through September 2006, the National Park Service collaborated with Native American tribes to present a bicentennial traveling classroom commemorating the original Lewis and Clark Corps of Discovery. An unprecedented success was the integration of more than 400 Native voices in over 1,800 hours of tribal presentations in the Tent of Many Voices. Trail superintendents continue to honor Native American tribes today by providing a wider public audience for our shared historical narrative. One way the National Park Service supports this effort is with a curriculum development handbook called Honoring Tribal Legacies.
Together with the National Park Service, we're developing this handbook. All of the curricula are focused on either one tribe specifically or multiple tribes, but the main idea is that they're all honoring tribal legacies.
Lewis and Clark met with the Salish people in the southern part of their Aboriginal territory. So I'm wanting to draw students into the world of my relatives and ancestors at that time, to give them an idea that this expedition was entering a very old tribal world. They entered these pristine, remarkable environments where there was a great abundance of plants and animals, clean water, clean air. And because of the condition of the landscape, they thought it was empty from humans. But actually that landscape was like that because of the life way of humans that had lived there for thousands of years.
Lewis and Clark National Historic Trail from its beginning was very expedition-centric, meaning only that it was only one part of a much larger story that the focus was on. When you read about Lewis and Clark in a textbook, much of the time what you were learning about the Lewis and Clark expedition had to do with what did the United States government want to accomplish with this expedition, and then how did that happen? It's almost a parallel story that we want to be woven together.
We wish to explore new methods and take a good look at overlooked sources, to be self-reflexive about the lenses and filters we've used in creating history in the past. Our curriculum designers are creating an open, safe, and respectful environment that nurtures multiple perspectives and helps make all children feel welcome and comfortable.
The perspective that human beings, animals, and the landscape are all interconnected. It's a web, and we're one strand of that web. It's a profound insight because you are, at your most essential, you are reliant upon those things that are going to come from the land and the water.
And when students understand that Indians are just not this romantic, kind of enigmatic presence that used to be, then they understand Native people in the present, that those nations are still nations, still have government, still have laws, still have economy.
We have 7,000 cubic feet of Native American records, just Bureau of Indian Affairs records at the National Archives in Seattle. And I personally have been working on getting those records into the public eye. I've seen some evidence that Native American children don't actually know their own history. And I think they need that.
What those students need is to feel valued, is to feel a part of that educational process, that educational system. And when they see the regular inclusion of tribal perspectives in science and in math, that they will rise to the occasion because there's something to be proud of.
A Native American teacher is not only a gift to Native American children within her classroom or his classroom, by mere means of that role model image. But that same teacher can go into a non-Native school community and really be able to add so much more richness to the understandings of so many different subjects because they have such a diverse worldview.
So this is a place-based framework. Multiliteracies is is focused on using a multi-sensory approach, which is going to better meet the needs of students with diverse ways of knowing about the world.
The environment is the 21st century issue, and I think communicating and respecting across difference is the other 21st century issue.
We've been talking about this being an epic journey of healing with Indian tribes, but also the non-Indians as well. Taking down those obstacles, kind of breaking down those walls and those barriers.
And I think it's remarkable now that Indian people are willing to tell this story, because our stories have really been marginalized.
It was here in this estuary that some of our family of our original chiefs came back home and were greeted by our tribal people that were trying to adjust to the new lifestyle of having farmers and disease and logging going on.
Some people haven't wanted to talk about the Lewis and Clark expedition because it's not us choosing what story we get to tell about our history. It's our story in relation to American history.
I watched the video that they had. It was a slideshow at the time in the museum area, and so I went in and just the same story once again that everyone's heard a million times. And then they got to the Clatsips and showed that same picture of them all hunkered down, and then at the end said that all the Clatsips were now extinct. And that kind of weirded me out because I grew up knowing that I was class of Nehalem.
And so to be able to honor the history, not Native history, not American history, but just the history, that they are woven together, and that acknowledgement that that history is there, that it's valid, that it's powerful, that it's useful, that it's meaningful, is, I think, one of the most honest and honorable things that we can do.
More than ready-to-use classroom lessons, the Honoring Tribal Legacies Handbook is a useful tool for guiding engagement with tribal leaders or enlisting constituents, clients, and customers to do the same. You too can add to the momentum behind championing tribal legacies in our nation. Learn more about the Native people and places all around us. Honor the tribal legacies that are embedded in our American landscape, woven in our American histories, and integral to our American pride.